I don't know, Pika. Why do you want to talk about this some more? I mean, I shouldn't be asking why Rachel can't shut up. I should be asking why you won't shut up. Hey there. Welcome back to the show. It's time for another hot take about a cause celeb. About a celeb with a cause. Ain't it so? Weird. Weird. I hope nobody clips that like they've been clipping this kid. Oh, talk about clipping kids in their wings. What? I didn't go there. Hi. So, why can't Rachel shut up? What is wrong with Rachel Zegler that she can't be stopped? It is huge right now in our pop culture sphere. Honestly, okay, I want to go back to my Latina argument that I dated a Latina for years. And this is a lot of this has to do with the Latina we call it spice. You know what I mean? It's just the cut of the cultural jib. You know what I mean? I'm also Irish by culture, and there's nothing more fiery than a red-headed Irish woman. And but you know, just you can't walk around YouTube these days without tripping over a Rachel Zegler video. And this is our second. The first one was so successful, I thought I had to, come back for seconds. And but I'm asking a question. It's not just to be clickbaity. I just want to say, too, the caveat. If you burn your hands holding too tightly onto my hot takes, that's on you, pal. It's just an opinion. There are plenty out there. You may have your own. It's true. So with the Writers Guild and the Actors Guild, SAG-AFTRA, the WGA on strike, there's not much the actors can say about the product that they are working for. They can't basically say anything. And the only thing recently that Rachel has said is that famous clip about if she's going to be in a Snow White princess costume for 18 hours, that she better darn well get paid for every minute that's it's streaming. I like that. I mean, why not? Go and get your money, honey. Seriously, there's just that's a fight to fight. Why not? But the other sound bites that are coming out, and especially the TikTok video of living in your own brain, and those are over a year old. They are. They're the famous Gal Gadot, Rachel Zegler interview from D23 from last year. And she hasn't been saying stuff recently. So, in fact, I'm answering my own question. Why can't Rachel shut up? Well, guess what? She's not saying much right now. And the movie Snow White, the live-action Snow White, is supposed to. Let's see. Let's look this up on the grand intranet here. When does the new Snow White come out? March 22nd, 2024. So it is literally about 10 months away. Almost a. Yeah, it's about 10 months. We got September, October, November, December, January, March, April. So yeah, okay, 8 months, 7 months, 6 months since it's almost September. It's a half a year away. I don't like math. I love math, to be honest with you. Pull up a chair, grab a cuppa. What are you drinking today? What did you bring to the coffee table that we're gonna, sit around and gab? I brought a cup of coffee. It's delicious. Enjoy this time we have together. Weird. Prince is a stalker. It's not going to be a love story, and it's not going to be about true love. It's about finding, her. She's a leader. Of course, these are, I'm going to probably say a few things that's going to paint me to be a misogynist. I'm used to that. I love women. I've got women in my family. I have a mother. I had grandmothers. I have aunties, both living and deceased. I've got cousins. I've got big cousins and baby cousins. And they're all, they're all beautiful, strong-willed Irish women. And guess what? I mean, they're wonderful people, and they were. If there is there's an inherent feminism with growing up Irish and growing up with Irish women. Yeah, I mean seriously. Um, so I respect women, but also this. Here it goes. Insert open mouth. Insert foot. You know, if you're into that stuff, I'm not judging you. You know what I mean? Jeez. I mean, just. But women consume more televised content than men. You know, that's out there on the internet. Look at RTFM. Read the manual. I mean, it's out there. Sure. Western women need so much validation and power fantasies. Seriously, I mean, we make the biggest ballyhoo about they're taking all the men stuff away to the girl bosses. Yes, they are, and it's being done on purpose. It's the postmodern thought and ideology of power dynamics, and now insert intersectional feminist theory, you know, going into pre-existing spaces and changing or labeling and demonizing, blah blah woof woof. I'm a high school graduate, but I'm autodidactic. I'm pretty erudite, like, you know, when it comes to, like, you know, being self-taught. You know, I'm pretty bright, you know, for a high school graduate. But I mean, Western women need so much validation and so much. They need the power fantasies more than men. So take it like a man and let the girl win. Yeah, true. My neighbors have turned up their boom boxes. Well, it's a beautiful day out there, and it's almost the end of the summer, so they're barbecuing and having a good time. And invite me over. I'm so sick of not being invited to places. Well, it's probably because I'm a misogynist jerk. But no, I mean seriously. I mean, just that's the spin on culture. It's a trend, all right. And I think it's got something to do with, you know, women love taking stuff away from boys, destroying boys' toys, and destroying their spaces. I don't know. I see that as, like, you know, the war of the sexes all over again. It's like the Lysistrata. It's been going on since Adam and Eve. I mean, you don't need a college degree to figure that out. I mean, I see some kind of revenge angle because of, you know, men ruin women's bodies and lives with children. Seriously. And so why wouldn't women want their comeuppance? Why wouldn't, you know, to destroy a boy's toy like Star Wars or you know, or Marvel and DC comics. It must bring great satisfaction to the postmodernist. Seriously, I see it. Remember, this is just an opinion. Weird. But why won't Rachel shut up? Well, we're making a lot to do about old footage. And as I like to say too, to bring Gina Carano into this too. Remember, Rachel Zegler was there a couple of years ago when when Gina Carano, you know, rightly or wrongly, said what she said on Instagram. Rachel Zegler led a mob against her, a digital lynch mob, and now on Twitter she's asking for kindness and compassion when she herself didn't use it. So just. Maybe this is just kids being kids. She's 22 years old. This is stardom, but also everything that she's saying in these interviews, they have to come from either herself or it's part of the junket script that she's being fed from her handlers and from Disney itself. I don't know. I know this much. I wonder actively when it comes to the activist mentality and the sheer judgmental mouthiness and uppityness of creators, writers, and talent in Hollywood, that it's one-sided. I mean, seriously, like, you know, just say anything conservative and you're evil. So it has to be progressive. It has to be liberal. I mean, I'm in the middle, and I'm just like, you know, sorry, I'm just sick of both of you in a way. But I mean, I don't go to movies or TV shows or comic books to be lectured about this or that. I just want escapism to forget about this IRL, this and that. I want to bring up something called the non-disparaging agreement. That's pretty much part and parcel in any professional contract. So I'm making an educated presumption that any contract that a writer, an actor, or anyone in, like, say, if you're representing Disney and you might be signing off, you probably do have a non-disparaging clause in that contract. What is a non-disparagement agreement, a non-disparagement clause? What is a non-disparagement? I'm going to read this from, this is an excerpt from Westlaw. Westlaw is a very famous law research online resource for lawyers and law students too. I worked at a law school for a little while. A general non-disparagement clause provides that, quote, employee agrees that the employee will not disparage the company or any of its officers, directors, or employees. Some employers also include language that covers disparaging communications made or transmitted on the internet or social media sites. And for this one here to be saying about how she didn't like Snow White, she didn't like the Snow White rides. She doesn't like the tone of the old movie. It was made in 1937, and we're not, how is that not disparaging the Disney product? Is what I want to know. And how is this person not guilty of violating the non-disparagement clause? Or any activist too that will say something that they think is meaningful, activist-like, and turn people off to wanting to enjoy that content, that product, that show, that movie, that comic book. You go from there. I mean, there's better to be more neutral than to be biased and legitimately turning off a potential 50% of your customer base. You're leaving money on the floor. I keep coming back to my personal experience as a blue-collar union tradesman, a chef for 15 years in a union shop, okay? Every year we blue-collared, barely high school educated here and there, not much college graduates. I mean, I am a blue-collar employee. I work with many people, on their second and third chances out of, the penal system. I work with lots of, non-native, non-English speakers who have naturalized citizens, who may or may have not completed high school or may have not completed college. That's their story. But one thing that does unite us is that we are blue-collar people. But we blue-collar people, this workforce, yearly has to sign off on a social media agreement that we will not say anything bad about fellow employees, our employer, the management company, the workplace that we work for, the guests, or the product that we make, and that any of that could really violate your employment status, and that it's best to say nothing of that kind on social media at all, because you can really get yourself into trouble that way. So so I'm coming this from a blue collar point of view, and then Hollywood elites, they don't play by the same rules. I was on this wonderful show on YouTube called Film Threat with Alan Ng and Chris Gore. I love that show. They're really great. And they had on a Hollywood scriptwriter talking about this and that. I sent in a super chat to ask him about this very thing, about don't you people sign off non-disparaging agreements in your contracts? How does any of this uppityness not violate that? And my answer was very I don't think I got a good answer from this individual. He started like saying about, well, what about freedom of speech? But that just kind of like proves my point. The Hollywood people really feel themselves to be above everyone else. Because of people like me, blue collar tradespeople, we sign off on social media agreements that we don't disparage the product, company, co-workers, management, or the place of employment. Chances are you do as well. And every year, these social media agreements get more and more specific in their nature. So if what applies to us, rules for me and rules for thee. So why won't Rachel shut up? I mean, geez. And I want to go back to Gina Carano just for a second. Sure, the Twitter mob that Ms. Zegler there's proof out there. There are receipts, as we say. She mobilized her fan base to go and attack Gina Carano over pronouns. My pronouns are my own personal business. And I don't have to be I'm not going to agree to that conversation. And I won't be leveraged into that conversation. I'll abstain from it because I just feel that's bait sometimes. I'm not going to be baited into a conversation like that. That's just, no thanks. It's got nothing to do with me, but go live your life, love who you love, live how you live, and be peaceful. And expect the same respect that you're getting. Yeah. But I love coming back to this point. If Gina Carano were to be saying the same things as Rachel Zegler, my YouTube sphere of my YouTube sphere is full of outrage culture and critical things against the progressive, insistence on educating moments and of using escapism as platform for messaging and to re-educate us plebeian hoi polloi blue collar people into a new social mode. I don't see that. I think that's like really that front line of that culture war. I'm a bemused observer at this point. I'm a chaplain, and I have to perform last rites on anyone that needs them. Let's put it that way. But also, I'm a chef. I mean, I don't have the luxury to pick and choose my clients like that. I'm not going to judge someone for being a Republican or a Democrat or a progressive or a conservative or maybe those 4 letters in that new spectrum thing, and that I just found out my letters, you know what I mean? That's my business, isn't it? But yeah, I mean, just why won't Rachel shut up? Well, guess what? She's not saying much. Sure, she's done a couple of aloof things on Twitter recently, like retweeting a Lady Gaga clip about being sick of men. Sure, I mean, I bet you are. But I want to go back to non-disparagement. And, if you've been paying attention to Rachel Zegler and what she's been saying, how isn't that disparaging? How, do you want to see this movie? Do you think that she's painting Disney in a positive light with the pre-existing material that you can still buy and enjoy, or the Disney ride, the White Ride, or what happened to a neutral ground to accept all people? I'm up to the point where I feel like these politically marginalizing comments, ideologically skewed and biased comments, and these turn people off. And we see it all over, to look at Target, look at Bud Light, there's an extremism to activism, and also a tenet of disruption in activism as well. I mean, look at those Stop Oil people gluing themselves onto things. They will even tell you their motivation is to disrupt and to get your attention. But what does this have to do with entertainment? how you spend your leisure time, how you wind down. How can you wind down when all they're doing is winding you up? I mean, I'm not a toy. I'm not going to be wound up by this. But I just can't help but notice that this is maybe this and this person and this attitude and these statements are the best example of how far this has gone. I used to have a workplace bully. This person no longer works there, not for a few years now, so I'm not violating any agreements. I don't have to tell you who they are or the nature of anything. But one thing that I believe in being a spiritual person is this, that unless I had evidence, I couldn't go to the managers, because if you make a claim, you need to have evidence to support it. So if you're going to make a claim about workplace bullying, you better darn well have some proof. And the best proof that I could ever offer was this individual's own behavior, letting them speak for themselves and behave as they behave on a daily basis. And over time, it sorted itself out. I'm of the belief that this will sort itself out too. I really have a lot of compassion and empathy for this person, because I too was young and dumb. Yes, and I also am still judged by the actions of what I did when I was younger. I mean, just it blows my mind sometimes. People say, like, wow, that's great, but that's like a 20-year-old context. I mean, geez. I mean, I was a lot younger then. And I also was kind of like of that iconoclastic, take me as I am, and just in a bit of mischief too. So I know what it's like to say and act and do in a way that is impactful on other people that they don't really like. And it takes age, maturity, and owning it to accept yourself and to accept especially your impact on others. Do you think this person's at a place in their life with their stardom, their privilege, and their platform that they consider other people? That they consider anyone that is maybe even opposite to them? I come back to my spirituality, and it's called Swadeshi. And I think Gandhi turned me onto this. But Swadeshi means service to others, especially service to others who are distant from you. And it doesn't mean just geographically. People who are distant from you ideologically and emotionally. People that could consider you their enemy. That you need to serve them just as well as you serve your friends and allies. I mean, I'm also big on saying things like, I don't want allies. I want neighbors. I want co-workers. An ally, history has proven time and time again, an ally can and will and could turn on you and violate treaties, contracts, and agreements. But a neighbor, unless you're willing to move, you have to have a negotiation, come to a conclusion, and that's mutually satisfactory. A coworker, you can go to management to try to arbitrate something, but also you can see what you can do on that ground level to be like, how can we make this work out? We both work here. Where are you going to be tomorrow? Where am I going to be tomorrow? Next year, and the year after that. We come to work. I don't come to work to fight with you or over resources, over a workspace. I come to work to earn. How can how can we work this out? There is no sense of that in this culture war. Or there's the illusion of that. I don't agree to that. I agree that people can, should, and would negotiate. And sometimes you have to give things up in order to make things fit. I don't know. I don't have answers. All I have are more questions. But one of those questions is, why won't Rachel Zegler shut up? Well, the answer's kind of obvious. And because of the strike, she can't say much. We're judging this individual on year-old video footage and interviews. Now, is that how she feels currently? She might not be able to speak her mind about what's going on with her present day and right now. She might not have the opportunity to backtrack or to fix things because of the strike. The strike is, they can't talk about anything related to the product. And wouldn't it be cool if they came to that, if they did that in a day-to-day non-strike thing? If they were a bit mindful of, hey, I could be turning someone off. But also, what about disparagement, non-disparagement? I mean, I'm looking this up on something called Jaberg Wilk Law Firm. It's a First Amendment argument fails. The court also rejected the defendant's First Amendment argument, meaning your freedom of speech, free speech. It held that a First Amendment right of free speech does not apply in a private setting absent some kind of state action. Moreover, you are free to waive your First Amendment rights anytime you want to, as the defendant did when they agreed to restrict his own free speech rights in this contract. It was virtually the contract was virtually an unlimited gag order of their own making. And this is a very troubling case from the lawyer's perspective, and it's not a unique case among most state and federal courts in the country. It seems that regardless of where you are, agreeing to a non-disparagement clause in a contract, such as a settlement agreement, may expose you to dire consequences if you say anything to anybody that may in some way disparage the other party to the contract. It could be anything. Your words do not have to be false or defamatory or even mean-spirited. You could write or say something to anyone, to friends or family on social media, and if it can be construed as disparaging, you may find yourself in breach of your settlement agreement, and you can be sued, and depending on what the agreement says, you may have to pay back the settlement proceeds and any damages the disparaged party may be able to prove you caused by the disparagement. Even worse, under Arizona law, because the claim arises out of a contract, you could get hit for paying the costs of the attorney fees of the party who sued you. So, I mean, how is this individual not disparaging Disney? Disney has spent the past 100 years being a family entertainment, welcoming all people to come and enjoy their movies and to come and share some escapism. And especially when it comes to like their theme parks. And me being a chef, I know this for a fact. Disney is the gold standard in hospitality and in guest relations. They have had a motto for almost 30 years that comes from the Oscar-winning song from Beauty and the Beast. Be our guest, be our guest, be our guest. That was once the paradigm of Disney. How is this person being hospitable, and how is this person welcoming you to be Disney's guest at their latest huge attraction, this wonderful live-action movie where they put so much effort and attention to want to be welcoming to more and more and more people? When will non-disparage agreements in these clauses be used to shut up the talent and creatives that are divisive and leave money on the floor and alienate huge populations of potential paying customers? When will Rachel shut up? I know it's clickbait, but thank you so very much for tuning in today and hearing my hot take, the second hot take on Rachel Zegler. Good luck, kid. I mean, you're beautiful, you're headstrong, and you're get your shit together. I think you're going to be wonderful. Stick with it, kid, and don't be afraid to have humility and loving kindness that you're asking for, and extend that as well as ask for it. Thank you so very much for tuning in today. God bless. Namaste. Good luck. Please like and subscribe. I would love to earn your subscription. We make content here. We talk about comic books a lot. We make pop culture hot takes. I'm a professional chef, as I mentioned several times, so we do cooking videos. I'm also a very spiritual man. I'm an ordained minister. We talk about spirituality, purpose, and gratitude. Maybe a little bit more gratitude can help her out. But hey, I didn't catch on to that until later in life. There's hope for everyone, okay? And there's hope for you too. Awesome. Well, you have a wonderful day. Please smash that like button. Hey, hit the downvote button if you didn't like this kind of content. I'm a big lad. I can handle it, you know? But please, if you're interested, subscribe, turn on those notifications, ring that bell, smash that like button, and help this channel out on the algorithm. And thank you so very much for tuning in today. We will see you later with more videos. Ciao. Bye-bye.